Hey guys, what I do? It's your boy Supreme Uchiha the God, and today I want to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen spoilers. Yeah. So I wanna but I'm gonna focus on a few things. I'm gonna focus on the 200% purple, which they said 120% this chapter. So I don't know, maybe somewhere there was a mistranslation, but the enhanced purple that Gojo used at the start of the fight, they said that Sukuna tanked it. Now, there's still people interpreting it differently. People saying that he initially tanks it with his hands, loses it, realizing that he's losing it. He then moves out of the way, kind of like how Hanami did when Gojo sent it flying. The other explanation is that Gojo sent it from 4-5 kilometers away, and purple gets weaker as it travels, because obviously then if it doesn't get weaker as it travels, it would just infinitely travel forever and ever and circle the whole globe, you know what I mean? So obviously that's not the case. So as a result, it just gets weaker, maybe rapidly, maybe gradually, we don't know. And perhaps the reason he enhanced it was so that it reaches Sukuna, but potent enough to cause damage, right? Because he felt like if he shot a regular one from that distance, 5 kilometers away, by the time he reached Sukuna, it'd be too weak to be effective. Now, from close range, Sukuna explains that if he got hit right now, he would be in trouble. He basically may even die, because he's not in good condition, and it'd be from way too close. Okay, so this says two things. We've seen him get damaged by red. We've seen him not really get damaged by blue and red. So purple would kill Sukuna, but it takes time to charge, and the time it takes to charge would give Sukuna time to either use domain amplification or dodge, or again use curse energy reinforcement and then move out of the way. So he'd have a few options to survive it, but if it was to hit him clean, he would die. That's there's really nothing you can do about it. And that is the situation. So I just want to kind of explain that whole purple fiasco and situation and two possibilities. I do think that Sukuna did use his arms and realized as soon as they were going that he moved out of the way, kind of like what Hanami did, except he just lost his arms. He did take it head on and weakened it quite significantly. And then as he was taking his arms, I think he probably moved out of the way. And if he didn't, it doesn't really matter. He still took it head on. And it was the purple was not at 120% or 200% by the time he hit him. So let's just get that part out of the way. We don't know exactly how strong it was by the time we reached him, but we do know it was not as strong as when it was shot. Because Sukuna himself explains that. Now in this fight, Gojo goes on the offensive. Naturally, he's kicking the shit out of the new Shikigami and Mahoraga. But then Sukuna go to Mahoraga, and I maybe I should make a separate video on that itself. But Sukuna tells Mahoraga that you are not Megumi Shadow, you are mine. So show me something. Now, if I'm going to try to explain the Mahoraga'S adaptation, because a lot of people think it's only adaptive defensively, right? That is not the case. If his fight with Sukuna dragged on, he would have eventually adapted and found a way to hurt Sukuna, which he actually did immediately. So if we remember, he hit Sukuna with positive energy in his first attack, and Sukuna said if he was in his cursed spirit state, he would have died. Right? This is important. If he was a cursed spirit, he would have died. And Mahoraga assessed that Sukuna was a cursed spirit, which is kind of correct. But because he was in Yuji's body, he is the human. He's a human, and therefore the positive cursed energy was not as lethal to him. So that's why he survived. He was going to get one shot by Mahoraga. This is important. Then, as soon as that didn't work, Mahoraga switched to regular curse energy attacks. So this is important again because it switched, right? Either regular or negative, I can't remember, but it switched to a different method immediately. And it's the same thing here. It realized regular slashes was not affecting Gojo enough, so it switched to air slashing. You know what I'm saying? It basically created its own cleave and dismantle. Now another assumption you can say is that Sukuna did the slash from the shadows, but there was no indication of that, so we have to believe that Mahoraga is the one that did the slash. or cleave, whatever. He did that. And I think that was just its adaptation because the wheel turned and then it slashed. So I think that's just the case. It just figured out how to most effectively hurt Gojo. Attacking it and getting close is pointless because he's reacting. Now, obviously, Gojo was not aware that that's how it would adapt, so he got hit the same way Sukuna got hit by the initial attack, by the positive energy attack. So he got caught off guard, lost an arm, and then Gojo is now aware because Gojo always takes an attack, learns, and then touching him again with that shit is you know what I'm saying, a whole different planet. Gojo goes ahead and smacks the shit out of, he's like beating the two of them, and then Sukuna pops out of the shadow and kicks Gojo off the building, and then the Agito, the other Shikigami, punches Gojo. Gojo turns around mid-air, looks at it and says, "You too freaking weak to be in this damn battlefield, bro. What are you doing here? You do not have the power, the ballsack energy, the curse energy." By the way, listen, if you ain't subscribed or like this video, you also don't have ballsack energy and you don't have curse energy. You just a peon. I'm trolling. But yeah, subscribe and like. We're trying to reach 2,000k subs, please. But yeah, looks at him, says, "You are too weak." And listen, if you don't like and subscribe, you are also too weak, clearly. Say, to be in this battlefield, and proceeds to blew the fuck out of it and just makes it the center point and pulls everything to it and squashes it and kills it. Boom, GG's. And this man is going a 3v1 against Sukuna and Maharaga and Agito with one arm. And Sukuna is, because the blue that he hits, Maharaga thinks that it might go for Sukuna, and it moves Sukuna out of the way, and saving Daddy Sukuna once again, or Daddy Maharaga saving Baby Sukuna once again. And so that's how it kind of went. And then so Agito is out of the battle, out of the equation, and the main reasons out of the equation, Gojo wanted to get rid of it because it can heal. He realized all the different Shigegamis that it mixed to make it, and knows that the deer heals. So he was like, okay, I need to get rid of that, because if he heals his brain damage, I'm fucked, because he can open domain expansion, and I don't have the output, the reverse curse energy output to survive at Cleave and Dismantle right now, since his arm can get slashed off clean. But obviously if he had his full reverse curse energy output, he'd be able to tank the slash and heal immediately, instantly, like he did in the domain clash. Okay, so this is important again. So Gojo gets rid of Agito to prevent that from happening. Agito's gone, GG's. And then he looks and it says, okay, it's time. And the narrator says in 41 seconds or 42 seconds, Gojo unleashes a purple that changes the landscape of where are they? Is it Shibuya? It's not Shibuya. They're in Shibuya, no? No, they're not in Shibuya. They're in wherever the fuck they're fighting. Shinjuku, wherever they're fighting, bro. Changes the landscape of the city. Basically, that's what he says. And so I'm super excited to see the next chapter. It looks like the next chapter will be the climax, because it says the climax approaches. So I think next chapter, the fight is either going to end the next chapter or the chapter after that. So I think within the next 2 chapters, because it's reaching the climax. So I'm very, very intrigued. I'm very, very satisfied. I'm looking forward to see what happens. Gege's writing style is sensational because it's very hard to predict, and I've been having a blast. Anyway, it's been your boy Supreme Uchiha the God. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'm out.